What up, love buds? Foxy here. Today I'm going to give you some helpful tips and tricks if you want to make your own videos using GoPros like I do. Now, a few tips you should know off the bat. GoPros are good for some things, bad for others. So the first thing you'll notice about GoPros, they are amazing outdoors on beautiful sunny days. That's what they're made for. They're action cameras. So using them for making videos is a little bit hard unless you're doing high action stuff, but it's not impossible. Just gotta make sure you choose your time and place. A beautiful sunny day helps, but if it is raining or indoors, it's not a killer. Just gotta make sure your settings are right. Okay, so as fursuiters, GoPros are amazing cameras because they've got nice big buttons that you can push in our hand paws. And they're pretty just point and shoot because it's such a wide angle. But this does have a few drawbacks in itself. Being wide angle means you can't get the good cinematic shots you see a lot of people with DSLRs use. But it also means you haven't got to worry about the screen. If you have a look at GoPros, there is no screen on the back. Unless you get the Hero 4 Silver, which is actually a pretty good camera. But if you get a battery backpack, it'll cover the screen anyway. So the wide angle lens will help you capture a lot of stuff, especially if you're using a selfie stick. You haven't got to worry about what if I'm out of shot. And if there's stuff going on in the background, you'll capture all of it, which is really great for a furry convention or even just going out on the streets having fun as a fursuiter. The other thing GoPros can't do is, without special lenses, is zoom and focus. So you're locked to everything being in focus, so depth of field is not really an issue, which again is a good thing for what we do, but bad if you want to make a short film story kind of thing. If you're looking to make your own furry video, story video, music video, one of the biggest hits I can give you with that is try and give it a bit of a storyline. If you look at my most recent convention video, a photo 2016, you'll see that I started off by telling a bit of a story and then I share my experiences and it feels like it has a flow instead of just showing convention footage. And I try and put in a good message, so picking the right music, having a story, introducing yourself and the reason why you're there are always good things to have on a checklist when you're making a video. But keep in mind, you don't want to spend too long in your intro because people want to see fursuits, they want to see conventions, they want to see all the fun you had. Okay, so let's get into the settings of the GoPro that I use. I personally use a GoPro Hero 4 Black. I have two of them for different purposes. One can go on my ear. But the settings I use, outdoors, is it's so easy to use on outdoors because that's what they're made for. I use 2.7K resolution at 60 frames a second. That gives me the opportunity to zoom in a little bit in post if I want to get a tighter shot without losing any quality. It uses almost the full center of the GoPro, so it does absorb as much information as it can onto the SD card. And it just makes for a beautiful shot. If your computer can't handle that, then there's nothing wrong with filming at 1080p. It just makes it a bit harder to zoom in. Just 60 frames a second is great for outdoors because if you want to make a little slow motion part of it to really enhance it, you can do that at 60. Again, if your computer can't handle it, for editing purposes, 30 is okay, or 25 if you're using PAL settings. As for shooting indoors or on overcast days, when light is a real issue, GoPros really struggle. I'm not sponsored by GoPro, so I can say this happily. GoPros are not designed for that kind of shot, but they still can be used, as long as you know what you're doing. The important part is letting as much light into your camera as possible, but not using ISO. So you don't want to, when you're making video on your GoPro, you don't want to make your ISO above 800. To get more light in, it's better to lower your frame rate. So if you're filming indoors, shoot for 25 frames per second on PAL, 30 frames per second on NTSC, and that pretty much doubles your light intake from 60 frames per second. Because half a shutter speed, twice the light. Alright, so now I'm going to show you through my personal GoPro kit. I'll show you the full kit, and everything I use, everything I've purchased, and how they all kind of work together. Let's go. So this is my GoPro kit. It fits in one big box and it's quite heavy, but let's come in, I'll show you what we got. So on my top layer, which I use most often, obviously are my two cameras. Both of them Hero 4 Blacks with battery backpacks. That's the frame, so I can use audio if I need to. And this is the waterproof case. So I can use this and shockproof. I can have a lot of fun with that and not worry about it getting damaged. Secondly is my selfie stick. This has the GoPro remote built into it that sold separately and extends quite long, so I can get nice big wide shots of everything I'm doing. Next is my stabilizer, which I use a lot more often nowadays. So this is a stabilizer. If you pop the GoPro in here, this is stabilized so it stays flat electronically. So I can move it around and the camera will stay flat and perfect. Also, I have my tripod. This pack seems to be quite small, that's why I purchased it. But it does get to be about, it sits almost chest height for me, maybe a little bit lower than chest height. So say maybe between 1 and 1.5 meters high, which is really good for a tripod. And being a GoPro, it does capture quite a lot from that angle. I've also got my power cords, spare batteries. So in there I have two spare batteries, so if they run out on a film shoot, I can just replace them. Here I have my floaty back door, if I want to go filming out in the pool or out in the ocean. And my recharging stuff. So I got a power point with 4 USB slots and 1 power outlet, which allows me to charge all my stuff at once. Very important to have, especially if you've got everything recharged at once. I've also got in here, the one thing GoPros really need to do is backlight their screens. So I have a torch here. So this torch here, if I'm filming at nighttime, will help me see the screen and get my settings right. Okay, that's all for the top level. I got a spare waterproof case here for the other GoPro if I want to use both in the water. Moving on to the second level. This is a lot of my mounts. So here I've got my chest harness. This will attach to people's chests and give them that kind of point of view. Here I've got a suction cup mount. I pull it out, but you know what it does. It sticks to glass, sticks to walls. Glass is better, but it allows me to, if it's like a fly in the wall kind of thing, I just smack it up on the wall. I can put it on the outside of my car to get nice shots of inside the car. Here I've got a wrist harness. Here I've got a head harness. So this will wrap around someone's head. Not for a fursuit, unfortunately, but it probably could work for one. Here I've got my jaws clamp. So any kind of pole or tree, anything that I can clamp that to. It's very strong, I've got to really squeeze it. So that'll hold on to almost anything and give me another good angle wherever I want to go. Other thing for water is my floaty handheld mount. So I hold this in my hand, I can go off, I can do high dives, jumping off rocks, swimming underwater. If I happen to drop it, it'll just float to the top. In here, come closer. In here I have all my extra parts, so mounts, screws. I've got a screwdriver in there somewhere, I think. Sticky mounts, just all my spare parts that are loose that could come in handy for a lot of different things. You'll find in my little box here. Moving down to the bottom level, I have a second suction cup mount because they're very handy. Having 2 suction cup mounts is a great way to, if you want to get 2 mounts, suction cups are the way to go because they are the most usable, versatile mounts, and they're pretty cheap for GoPro. Here I have my dog harness. So any kind of pets, any kind of footage I want to get from point of view of an animal, boom, there I go with that. If I ever meet Albie one day, I'm going to put it on his fox. Watch out, Asriel, I'm coming for you. Here I have a microphone. So if I really need to get interviews with my GoPro and have nothing else available, and I have to use that microphone, that's a better microphone for the GoPro. Here is another mount. This is a roll bar mount, if you can see that. So these come undone, you put them onto a roll bar, or any kind of bar, a shovel even, If you ever watch those home improvement shows and you see the shovel digging out dirt, that's what they use, one of these. Here I have a little octopus tripod. So I can get really low to the ground mounted tripod shot so it's stable and flat and doesn't get knocked around, doesn't fall over. I can also wrap it around things. That's it. Oops, I just broke it. I just broke it. I broke my little octopus tripod here, so I'm going to try and put it back together. It should be okay. I think so. Okay, I might have to take my paws off of this.
Magic.
The magic is ruined. I'm human. You all know that now. Yep, okay, so that's back together now. All back in one piece. Yay. Second last thing is an extendable pole for my gimbal. I do use it occasionally to get those nice high shots where I need it to be steady. And last thing in my entire kit is probably one of the most important, especially for long weekend shoots, a power pack. This can recharge my GoPros maybe 8 times. And that means if I'm out for a weekend, I can recharge my GoPros, I can recharge my gimbal, I can recharge my spare batteries all weekend long, and I haven't got to worry about any kind of power supply. I can't bring all of this on every film shoot. If I'm going to a big film shoot and I need everything for different kind of things that might happen, yes, I'll bring it. But more often than not, I'll bring a small version. This is my portable case. Inside here, it'll fit both my GoPros, my gimbal, my selfie stick, my power pack, the box of spare parts, and a suction cup and a jaws clamp. So I don't need everything. If I know that, hey, I'm not going to use the dog harness, why would I bring it? So most of my shoots you'll see me coming around with this little bag. That's all I need for that kind of day, that kind of film shoot. Okay, so that's my GoPro kit. I hope you've learned a few things about if you want to make your own videos for any purpose, not just fursuit making, but for all those people who want to make furry videos. If you have any more questions about that kind of stuff, please leave me a comment. I'm happy to answer them. So, thank you all for watching. I hope I helped you out, and like, favorite, subscribe. Bye!